Hello there. Welcome to the very first EMOTIONA Podcast. It's me, Brian. Just creating a little window here for us to kind of connect and talk for a little bit. I'm usually so caught up in my head, so kind of in my crazy, obsessive creation mode. I'm in creativity, music time, computer time. I'm always like up here, and I want to get out. I want to channel it, I want to connect with whoever might be on the other side here. Can you hear me? Are you there? Where are you? Are you in a car? Are you in your bed at night with your headphones on? Are you at work flipping burgers or trading stocks? Mowing a lawn? Cleaning a house? Are you a professional jet skier? I don't know what you do. I hope you're doing it really well. And by that I mean I hope you're liking it. I hope you're feeling it. I've been kind of hard at work. Been in the studio here, downtown Indianapolis, working on this first track, this first EMOTIONA project. It's gone really well. And but first for the podcast, why podcast? It's why not? Like I said, it's so easy for me to get caught up in my head, and it's good. You can get a lot done learning by yourself, working through problems by yourself, but you're not really leaving any breadcrumbs. You're not leaving any trail for people to follow or learn from, or and why not to kind of connect in every way you can. Past 5 years for me have been pretty wild as far as taking on a big creative endeavor, going all in, kind of like just living in a cave, essentially. And it's cool that you can come out the other side with whatever thing you made and whatever it was that you were working on, but then also kind of like the lessons that you learned about yourself and about just the way things work and the way that you still don't know how things work. There's still so many unknowns, but definitely a lot of I was talking with my mom today just about experience, and learning lessons and going through things is so powerful. It's like you don't want to go through hard times. You don't want to, stress yourself out for whatever reason, but that's kind of part of the game, right? That's part of the experience. It's part of the journey is going through moments like that. I was reading this book talking about, he was saying going through, he talked about like a forest, like the forest is the unknown, and there's people going, you have enemies in the forest, potential predators, and you're going through your problems, but that's where it is. And when you go through the forest and you get to the other side, you're stronger for it. If you didn't let the forest kill you, if you had the strength to get through it, well, now you may be scarred up, you may be bruised up a little bit, but now you've got the experience and the perspective to kind of apply all of that to your next endeavor, your next adventure. That was Principles by Ray Dalio. That's who it was. Ray, big investor guy. I was kind of dipping my toe back in the financial stuff just because how long can you be a starving artist? Well, you can forever, I guess. But wouldn't it be cool to be an artist and not be crazy poor? What if you halfway had your life together? Well, that'd be kind of cool. If anything, just for comfort's sake, you can not drive the people around you crazy asking for money from friends and what have you. But through that 5 years, definitely had a lot of friends that helped me out, and hopefully I've returned the favor since then. If you're hearing this and you helped me during those crazy times, thank you again. You know who you are. I got your back. Hit me up anytime. But yeah, cool having a little channel here. I can do a little storytelling. I always say, I'll do this kind of, maybe it's like a defense mechanism. I'll say to people, I'm not a very good storyteller, because I don't tell a lot of stories. I'm usually listening to people, because it's good to hear, it's good to learn from other people instead of word vomiting. But that's one of those things that I'll say, I'm not a very good storyteller, but really, I could be a good storyteller. I feel like at this point in my life, I've got some cool stories I could tell. Now I just need to use my words and let the words do their thing, right? But yeah, pretty excited. EMOTIONA Podcast, boom. As far as the EMOTIONA project in general, really just it's been a crazy time in quarantine with the lockdown, just always inside. I mean, I'm like I said, I'm inside a lot already, but I'm inside all the time working on stuff. And this was just kind of even having more time than usual. Like, so the I Exist stuff is finished. My homie Cam Reeves playing a band, I Exist. My friends, you already know that if you're hearing. But now I've got this extra time, and I just haven't been like singing and performing. I've been, the project that we were working on was so difficult, and I was learning so many things that didn't have anything to do with music, and they were part of this big VR project, which I'll tell you all about at some point. But for me, it's needed to get back to music. I get back to performing, get back to just connecting, in that way. And yeah, I'm just really excited to put out content on a regular basis. Jumping in Ableton Live, which is the music recording software that I use. Just being there on a regular basis, just upping my production game. And really, I think that was the big one of the big reasons for this project is, you can imagine wanting to be world class at something. Like say you want to be really, really good, right? Well, you can be world class, but when you're not there yet. Like when your work's like not as good as you think it could be, or the song you're working on is not as good as it could be, or it could just be a little bit better. And the I Exist stuff finally got to a point to where we both thought it sounded really good, so that's been an incredible feeling. But we did this remix contest, which I can kind of talk more about some other time. But did this remix contest and we didn't win it, right? Which you're not going to win everything, but by not winning this remix contest, the voice in my head, like a light went off in my head, like, well, that just means that you're not world class enough. Yeah, it means you're not good enough. You know what I mean? If you were like the best in the world, you would have won. There's like subjective like opinions, like maybe they just weren't feeling your track or whatever, and that's true. But my inner voice just knew you just weren't the best in the world yet. Not that it's like this like bro competitive thing. It's about within yourself knowing that you're just not where you should be yet. So that's where this project's kind of started for me. Is like I just need to produce more music, literally, songwriting for sure, but then also just music mixing, mastering, basic, just getting. I feel like I'm at 90%, 92%, and I feel like if I just knock a handful of projects out with this whole thing, I can just be that much more closer to where I know I could be and where I should be, and whatever future music projects I exist and everything, I can just bring more to the table because I have more experience. I've got more practice and time under my belt. So that's one of the biggest things for starting this whole EMOTIONA project, is just to practice more. And then also to bring people along while I'm creating. So during the past 5 years, I just haven't brought people along. I haven't been on social media because I just knew while I was going through that time that people, I could have showed it to them, but it wasn't very, very good, to where now I feel like I could be right in the middle of a song, and yeah, at the end of the song it's going to be better, but I'm just to a point where I feel confident bringing people along throughout the creative process, and kind of just having that connection throughout the whole thing. And then also another thing I'm really excited about is just the way I can kind of throughout the YouTube show, especially showing the different elements of a song, like what was I thinking for this part and this part, how did this piano part come together, what was the cello part like. That's a really cool way on the YouTube show where I can just kind of go deeper and show people that, if you just hear the song, it's one thing. I know musicians would hear it differently than like music fans, but I'm not sure. Maybe both, sides would get something out of it. The musician's side would be like, oh, that's cool. I could, learn from that or try that out. But then maybe the fans, or whoever is listening to it, maybe could potentially have a perspective of what goes into a song, how it all comes together, what was the artist thinking, and because so many people, Ableton Live's a really super popular thing, but what's the average person? Do they know what goes into producing a full, modern electronic track? Probably not. They've seen some videos, and would they be interested? I don't know. And I'll definitely everything will sort of evolve, right? And I'm sure the whole project will mold. But super excited to just get the ball rolling, get the momentum moving, and then just getting that in that groove of create, post, engage on social media, not in like a cheesy way, but just be there. Like if you're not on social media, you're not with your friends, and that's another thing I want to do is just connect with my friends and make new ones, and family obviously, and because you're kind of cheating people out of part of it if you're not on there, but also it's crazy overwhelming and really insane just in general, which I'm sure you can understand. But social media, what a wild ride. But that's the EMOTIONA project. Kind of why I started it. So excited to kind of get things going on it. But the very first EMOTIONA project, Nirvana. I wanted to have this what song could I remake for the show? What would be the first one to kind of set off the whole thing? And I just thought Nirvana. Why not start there? I mean, I was probably like 15 years old when I first started playing guitar, going to Carmel Music where I grew up, and just taking guitar lessons. And that's where it started for me. That's where music in general. I got Nirvana Unplugged, the album, and that's just my favorite album of all time. And that was the number one thing that made me start playing music. So I was like, it'd be cool to start there, start things off with Nirvana. And now that we're in 2020, what would it be like to remake a Nirvana song? From my perspective, obviously everyone would make it differently. And but what would I do today if I took any song? I didn't really have one in particular that I wanted to do. But what would that be like? So I chose "Dumb," the song "Dumb," which really cool song. Always liked it, And I think the first line, I'm not like them, but I can pretend. Man, I was just really feeling that in 2020. I was like, let's bring that out, and then just kind of bring it into this whole new electronic world, this melodic bass, Millennium, 7 lines, all this stuff that I'm into right now. And it's totally different. Like Kurt Cobain may totally hate it if he can hear it, But that's fine. It's super produced isn't even the word. This type of music is all production. It's just, that's all it is. It's just lots of blips and bloops, and if that's what it might sound like from people on the outside of it. But for me, it's always been the pinnacle of just music, like trance, electronic music for me is the most epic, melodic, I don't even have words for it right now. Just so huge. It's never gotten bigger in sound for me than what trance music will do. Massive walls of synth, huge ambient vocals, the highest of high, the most massive of massive. And it's always been this thing that I've wanted to kind of go after. I've always known that there's an electronic album that I wanted to make. This is before, this is way back when I was younger. And consciousness, for us, which I'll talk a lot more about, I Exist and that whole thing. But this, past one was the first album where, it was okay, we're all in on the electronic sound. And now, now that I feel like I finally got it, I cracked the code, and it took so long. It was so difficult to come from the alternative rock metal world, and you have this idea of how a song is made, and there's a formula. There's a formula for what goes into it. How is it? What does this section do? What is this part like? What there's so many nuances that you don't even think of, because your whole life you grew up just doing it, just emulating your favorite bands and stuff. But now, starting, it was 2015, both Cameron and I started it, started, going down this new path, like a whole new genre. And I thought it was gonna be really, simple. I thought I was like, you just have like a build and a drop and no problem. But crazy difficult. And I can't even put it to words, because you could compare one song, a new song to like an older song. You'd be like, well, they sound similar. It's a little different. But it's just, I think nuance is the word. Like, there's so many small, tiny little things that make all the difference. And you only learn those on like year 3.5. For me. You know what I mean? There was so many song structure, so many, parts that started clicking only like way later in the process. So, but now, like I said, I feel like I'm to a point where that's kind of like behind me and stuff. And now I can just start making songs and just in a flow state and just kind of put them out and just, go, and just know and to kind of believe in that you have the new skills, to do it. And man, I can't even, I guess I could, talk about it a little bit, but just during that time of going from rock music to electronic music, there was so many like lost songs, like so many like lost ideas, to where you're in songwriting mode, and I would have an idea for a song, and like in my head, I was, I had it, and you knew it could be good. And like you're really like emotionally tied to it, so you feel some type of way about the whole thing. But then you put it against this new beat, or you put it on these new sounds, like these new electronic sounds, and like you just don't know where to take it. You just don't know where to go with it. So then the idea ends up falling flat because you just didn't have the skill set to like do it justice. And then it's just like this. It's such a sad moment to have like ideas that go away, ideas that perish. And there was so many of those, and like consecutively. So it was such a challenging time having these what felt like really special little trinkets from the other side coming in, and they're knocking on your door, and they're like, hey, let's make something. And you're like, cool, for sure, let's make it. And then like the lights go out, and it was really challenging. But like I said, it's over now. And now when whoever those crazy neighbors are that knock on the door at whatever time, I'll be able to, I'll be like, hey guys, let's hang out. I think I could make something happen with this. Like, let's do it. And then they'll be like, yay, he likes our idea. I'm just talking about the crazy interdimensional stuff, the creativity. What is it? That's a big topic I'm excited to talk about with this whole thing. Just the process, creativity, songwriting, performance, just, what's it like to be like a human on Earth making sounds, and what does it mean? Hard to say, but it's really exciting to have this first Nirvana one out, and I feel like I did do it justice, at least in my head. I know a lot of people, especially like old school Nirvana fans that don't listen to electronic music, they may be like, what is this? But for me, at the very beginning of the idea, I feel like it did exactly what I was hoping it would do. So that's really cool. Good sign. I'm going to start a new song tomorrow, the second EMOTIONA project. And that's a good sign. Hopefully I can just kind of keep these ideas coming out really fast. So very, very cool. Also excited to release just more content on like Spotify and YouTube, and just get more video content flowing that way. Like I said earlier, connecting with just new ears, new people. Like there's so many people out there on Spotify. It's crazy. Like, well, you'll release a song on Spotify, and it's it's like you threw a paper airplane out the window, or you sent a mail, you put a letter in the mailbox, and it goes out. That's like the song going out into the world. And then like apparently people are reading it, apparently people are hearing it, and like Spotify will give you the stats. Like, hey, you got these plays, these people are listening to it in Norway and Germany and wherever. But it's like, but you never really know. Like there aren't any comments on Spotify or iTunes or Apple Music or whatever it is. You just like the people are out there, and I don't know. It's like, it would be crazy if you could, be with them as they listen in their car, or at work, or wherever, or at the gym. Like, you never know what they're doing out there. What are you guys doing? Like, they're humans. They're listening to it. But like, I don't know. I guess there's like a disconnect. But still excited to obviously put music out on a regular basis, and start performing it too. Like, I'm just gonna turn this whole studio apartment and just embrace it. It's small, but I love it. And like, why not I need to get on the piano and on the microphone, and I just want to sing way more often. You know what I mean? It just makes me happier. Like, why I haven't been doing it because there was like this mission. This big VR music project was I was on a mission. But now that it's over, I just kind of want to celebrate. I want to relax a little bit, but I want to celebrate just with more music, because that's the easy part. That's the nice part. That's what it's all about. You know what I mean? But there it is. Very, very cool stuff. The very first EMOTIONA podcast. I like this. It's nice to talk on the microphone. It's good to kind of start putting things out there. And if I'm a little slow, if I'm kind of slurry or mumbly, stick with me. Maybe 1 week at a time, I can get a little bit more clear, a little bit more focused, a little bit more precise, Hey. But, how do you put a podcast online? Like, I know Spotify just started doing podcasts, but I'm guessing there's like some service to where I can put this podcast on like this. Is there podcast.com that, hey, give us your podcast and we'll put it on all the iTunes podcasts and Spotify. It goes everywhere. Podcast.com. Or is it through Apple Music? What does that even do? And I want to I always, I'll watch some podcasts, but I'll usually watch them on YouTube, because I don't really watch TV. So if I'm in like TV mode, it's usually just through my phone on YouTube. I'll watch podcasts or whatever. So, but that being said, if I had a job and if I could listen to people while I was working, why not do that instead? But very cool. Thanks so much. If you made it this far, wow, you seem like a cool person. Thanks for hanging out. Lots of content coming up in the future. Stick with me. Hey, that's it. EMOTIONA Podcast. Later on.